Hey everyone, welcome back. David in History for the Ages here. So, I've been a history professor for 27 years, and one of the things I've noticed is that homeschoolers do really well. But why? So, I wanted to kind of make a short video explaining these five major reasons, right? And the first one I would say is they're just more eager to learn. And they're better critical thinkers, and they say, well, why is that? Why are they more eager to learn? Why do they enjoy learning more? I think that part comes from when you're going to a homeschool, you tend to get to pick more what books you want to read or what assignments you want to do. You're not kind of stuck into one assignment or one book. And so you get to enjoy what you're learning, and then that feeds on it, and you can just kind of learn more. And then because of that, they're also exposed to maybe more variety of ideas, more variety of concepts. And that always makes somebody a better critical thinker. One thing I would love is if people are watching this to leave comments. Why do you think homeschoolers do well? And especially if you're a homeschooling family. And I also want to add, it doesn't mean you can't succeed if you go to a public school, right? There are many people in public schools who do incredibly well in life, or private schools, even for that matter. The thing is, of course, just, you can oftentimes learn from what homeschoolers do, even if you are going to a public school or a private school, and say, hey, why are they doing this well? And maybe people in the public school system can pick up on this and use some of these to help them as well. So I just want to make that clear right away. It doesn't mean that you can't succeed if you are a public school student. So this is just my personal observation after 27 years. Homeschoolers have done really well. A second reason is they're just better prepared. They do better because they're better prepared. And what I mean by that is their grades are better, their reading skills are better. And I know this because, when I grade exams and I like, were you a homeschool students? Yeah, almost always A students. And we have, it's not just me, we have data. There have been a lot of studies. Homeschoolers perform better on exams and tests. And again, I see this as well because I've done guest lectures at a private at a homeschool learning center, and these are high school kids, and they do amazingly well. I created unit studies, right? And these unit studies are all based on my lectures. The way I have all my lectures; they're all free to anybody. Anybody can watch my history lectures, and I initially created them for my students when we had to go through the pandemic and I had to go online. I recorded all my lectures, and then it didn't take long for homeschoolers to find them, and then they're telling me their 12, 13-year olds are watching my college lectures, absorbing the information. They're able to get my unit studies. If anybody's interested in those unit studies as well, I'll leave the link in the description as well, where you can learn about them. And they use these unit studies at the age of 12, 13, and they get it. And so obviously they're very well prepared because, most 13-year-olds can't probably watch a college level course and then do a unit study on it and get it, but a lot of them do. So that's one thing that I see. They're just better prepared and ready to succeed. A third thing, just like I always throw in there, they're polite. Homeschoolers are just nice kids, right? They say please and thank you and hello and all that nice stuff. So I think that just makes you more successful, not just in college. That makes you more successful in life, right? I always tell people it doesn't take a certain privilege to be polite, to work hard, to take care of people, to do the right thing. Those are just things anybody can do that will help you succeed in life, and homeschoolers get that. And they're very kind in that way, and that's something I appreciate. A fourth reason, and this is an interesting one, they tend to be happier and better grounded. And why is that? This is one I'm not so sure about, right? Why are they grounded? Why are they happier? I can't say for sure. I'm going to speculate on one idea. In that many homeschoolers, not all of them, and the trend is also changing. There used to be a lot of homeschoolers came from religious families, and now that's not necessarily the case. But I think a lot still do, and there's been a lot of studies that have shown people who, come from religious families tend to be happier than those who don't. But again, there are people who are in religious families who are miserable, and there are people in non-religious families who are incredibly happy. So I don't know if that's necessarily the answer. Maybe it goes back to what I started with and saying they just get to learn what they want to learn. They get to go do more activities. They're not, stuck in a classroom all day. And, one of the things about public education is it was like, set up in many ways to create these automatons. You will line up in straight lines and you will sit in the same seat every single day. It's funny because I know my college classes, students come in, they can sit wherever they want, but students sit in the same seat every day because they're so trained to everybody has to sit in the same spot every single day. And so I think there's that freedom that comes with homeschoolers too that makes you more happier. I think that might be a key component. Free people are happier people. And I think they're freer as they go through their education system. So maybe that's one reason. And finally, the fifth reason, and this might surprise a lot of people, they're better socialized. Because this is usually, if you had to give the one negative stereotype of homeschoolers, people go, man, they might be really smart and they know a lot of things, but they're weird. Actually, quite the opposite. What I have found in all my years of teaching is that the homeschooler kids, they know how to communicate better. They know how to talk. They know how to carry conversations, not just with me, but other students. I believe I know where that comes from. I think that comes a large part because they're exposed to such a variety of people and events when they are going through their education. So you're not just in a class of second graders. You're not just in a class of fifth graders. You might be in second grade, but you go to a meetup with fifth graders, and you might get to go to a zoo more often or aquarium more often, or you do more activities. You might go to a reenactment, a Civil War reenactment more often. So you meet more variety of people, and so you know how to interact with people better. So actually, I think they socialize better than most students. So those are my observations. Again, this doesn't again mean that you can't go to a public school and do incredibly well, or that there are people who go to homeschool and have problems, right? I mean, I'm obviously going to have to be very straightforward about that. This is not everything works for everybody. There is no perfect system, but overall, I've personally been very impressed, and that's why I have all my lectures available for free for homeschoolers. And yes, I did create unit studies as well. If you're interested in those, again, I'll leave the link in the description. And if you have any questions, leave some comments. I'd love to hear what everyone thinks. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Please remember, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Everyone have a wonderful day.